patiently waiting. I'm passionately smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time, I'm thinking past tomorrow.
It's finally here, the international sensation. Hamilton, the blockbuster musical, made its debut officially in the country last night. Ed Mirvish Theatre, it was, sold out opening performance, standing ovation at curtain call. There you see how enthusiastic everybody was. And judging by the attendees' reaction, this story about one of America's founding fathers is definitely one that Canadians are interested in as well. Not to mention its fantastic performances and, I mean, just the whole construct of it, nonstop rap and hip hop. Well, that's one of many reasons to bring in Deanna Sumanak-Johnson to tell us all about it. There last night. Tell me more. Tell us more.
It was, as you said, a packed house, so much enthusiasm, so much anticipation. I mean, Hamilton opened 5 years ago, so people who hadn't gone to see it in New York or elsewhere in the States had to wait quite a while.
And they didn't remember the lineups and to get tickets?
At the tickets, and I met actually a few people last night who got their tickets through the lottery. Mirvish was trying to kind of keep the scalpers at bay, so they kept the tickets right at the box office until people picked them up the day of. There was a lot of attention paid to that. That really shows you some of the energy and the hubbub there last night. People waited for this for a long time. I have to admit, I saw it in New York 2 years ago. I saw it last night in a way because it's such a fast-talking musical and because so much information is thrown at you. Alexander Hamilton, of course, is one of the founding fathers of the United States, also was very influential in how their financial system was created, played huge roles with George Washington, with Thomas Jefferson, some perhaps better-known names even to Canadians. And this explores his personal life. He's really rags to riches story, as well as, I hope it's not too much of a spoiler, he's kind of fall from grace and what happens in a latter part of his life. I think it's really, last night actually made me appreciate it more because information is thrown at you through rap so
and
quickly.
So fast.
And
yes.
so fast. I mean, these performers are, it's just, I thought about the fact that it's a skill that probably most musical performers don't have. I was thinking, how do they cast them? And I thought, by the way, of course, it's a completely colorblind cast.
Yes.
So you have black performers,
Asian
performers playing George Washington, playing Thomas Jefferson. That was sort of one of the hallmarks from the original production as Lin-Manuel Miranda envisioned it. And just the one small disappointment for me last night was that it was a fully American cast. I think that Jay Kalinastrak, who is a theater critic for the Globe and Mail here, he pointed out that given that Toronto is one of the most multicultural, if not the most multicultural cities in the world, that it's such a huge epicenter for hip-hop, he would have enjoyed seeing some local talent, and I tend to agree with that. Not that that's a diss to the talent of these performers, because they're fabulous. Yeah.
Do you want to play a little bit about what people thought about it? Those
absolutely.
Who went to see it?
We caught up a bit with the people last night, and here is what they had to say.
It was amazing. I was really impressed with it. The singing, the acting, everything. It was fantastic.
Oh, we loved it.
What was your favorite part?
The Schuyler sisters.
Yeah.
The music is excellent. The choreography was outstanding. The leads were fantastic.
The entire thing was all rap, so it was really interesting.
Fantastic show. I recommend it for everybody.
So we'll see. I mean, they're going to be playing to full houses for months to come. You mentioned it arrived in 2015, so it's 5 years since we began talking about Hamilton. It hasn't just had a big box office success, it's had a huge impact on how we perceive musical theater, I think. And in Canada, too, we've been running this morning your report on the kind of impact it has had here.
And by the way, the people we included in that report were just some of the people we interviewed and spoke to. That there was we didn't need to elicit a lot of information because people were so enthusiastic. I really think it's no exaggeration to say that Lin-Manuel Miranda is a kind of Andrew Lloyd Webber of his own generation that has really inspired especially creators of color from minority communities, from underrepresented communities, to put their own stories on stage. Our Zulekha Nathu actually got a chance to speak to Lin-Manuel Miranda about that very thing, asking him for advice he would give Canadian musical theater creators this past weekend on the Oscars red carpet. Here is what Lin-Manuel Miranda had to say.
Well, I'll tell you, the only advice I can give is write what's missing. Write what you don't see on stage. I started writing in the Heights because I really wanted a life in musical theater, and so I wanted to write the kind of show I wasn't seeing. And so don't write the next Hamilton. Write what isn't Hamilton. Write the story that only you can write.
And you know, this brings me to my next point, which is I think it's easy to forget now that Hamilton has been so successful, and I bet everybody's trying to replicate it and create their own slice of Hamilton, that when he pitched this must have been seen as very risky. No major stars in the lead roles. I mean, he was the initial Alexander Hamilton, so no big Broadway stars. It's not like a Bette Midler show. It fully done, mostly done in rap and hip hop. Again, not something that has been done on Broadway on such a major stage before. Completely colorblind casting, playing very famous American historical personalities. This is now seen as a recipe for success, but back then it was such a huge risk that has paid off so well. And that's something that's really inspiring to students we spoke to at Sheridan College, which is here in Oakville in Ontario. It has a very prominent musical theater program. They actually helped develop Come From Away, so it's one of the programs that everybody wants to get into. Definite pedigree. And here's what one of the students there had to say about how Hamilton has inspired her.
One thing it really opened my eyes to is the agency to also imagine myself in the past as well. That's something I never realized that I wasn't doing as I imagined creating. Knowing that although previously I may be written out of those stories, or I may not see myself in a history textbook, it doesn't mean that as a creator I can't make those worlds and insert myself there as well.
It's such a sophisticated
I want to see something that she does.
Right?
I mean, really intriguing.
What a beautiful and nuanced point she makes. And she wants to write her own stories.
So it's, as we mentioned, playing for the next couple of months here in Toronto. Tickets are at a premium, although it's not completely sold out. You can, but they're pricey. There's no doubt about it. Prohibitively pricey for some. If people just wait a little bit longer, hello, coming to the big screen near you.
I think that that's the great thing about it, is that if it's played a lot in the States in a lot of smaller cities, and it is going on a Canadian tour once it's done playing in Toronto, but it's still only major cities. So Disney bought the rights to Hamilton for $75 million, which is where Lin-Manuel Miranda is laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, he's the busiest man in Hollywood right now. What they're going to do is, we're talking just a live, they're going to record a live performance and put it on the big screens. So if you hadn't gotten a chance to see Hamilton, you might get a chance to see it in about a year and a half. And I've been hearing a lot of rumblings. Is this going to be some sort of a franchise that, you know, Disney are no fools? What are they planning with this? Maybe a series. Exactly, maybe an animated series. So who knows? Definitely it's not going away anytime soon.
As we say, stay tuned. Deanna, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up late, in early for us. We appreciate it. Thanks for sharing all